Lovelies. It's Sunday, March 28th, just about on the zenith of this wild full moon of the fourth moon cycle. And we are in the time, as I mentioned in my last video, of Looks Far Woman. This is going to be a quick video today because we have other full moon obligations, and that's part of it, and part of it is I'm feeling very overwhelmed personally and in my spirit by the energies today. And I mean that not in a bad way. All the preparations, we did a house clearing yesterday in Barrie, and that was quite the shamanic venture, and a number of our Medewawan and fellow shaman came and helped us, and that was really wonderful because now that I'm in a wheelchair, it's very difficult for me to go inside. I have to do all my journeying from outside. But it emphasized for me just how strong and important this particular full moon is, and we will get into that. But just to orient you on the chart, our medicine wheel here, remembering that every community across Canada, you know, the colors are in different spots. This is still our north, east, south, and west. Some elders flip these colors. It's all the same cosmology. We just have subtle differences, like the plants in the Arctic are a little different from the plants down here in the south. It's all about the concept of the wheel, and cycles within cycles, and wheels within wheels. So here's where we are. We're just past spring equinox, halfway between the fourth and the fifth moon cycle. So we're just dead center. The weather has been remarkable. For us, it's the first year that we've lived here that we haven't had a wet basement. That's a good thing for us, but not such a good thing as far as I can see for Turtle Mother. I hope that when we do some water ceremonies in the region where we live, Georgian Bay, that we can get a balance between the water in the earth, in the water table, and the water in the lakes. So I'll be calling upon folks to join me for some water ceremony a little bit later in the season. But in the meantime, as I said, the full moon occurs today at 2:48 p.m. So we're about, I don't know, an hour away. And this is why this is important. In solar astrology, this is a full moon in Libra. And astrologically speaking, for me, Libra is my ascendant. It's about the great balancer, the balancer and the equalizer. Anybody with Libra in their chart loves beauty and balance and the arts and relationship. It's about balance and relationship. And as far as this particular super full moon, we have another one next month. And then we get into eclipse season. And we have a series of eclipses. So we're really being asked by the Creator and by the universe, the all that is, the great mystery, to really be careful what we are thinking. Because what is our internal reality manifests our external reality. And this is not just a shamanic principle. This is a life in this existence principle. So full moons, particularly where we are in Looks Far Woman, she is the seer, and you know, I've given a big description of her in the last video, so you may want to stop and go back and listen to that one. But suffice it to say, We are being expected to look, to create, to manifest. We really don't want this third wave of pandemic. So we have to get out of our heads and out of our navel gazing and look very much at projecting the good stuff for the future, what it is we want to see when this is over. Spirit is still saying, you know, by the end of the summer, early September, things will be back to normal if we stay focused. Colette Baron Reid has a phrase that I chuckle and love. I love it. It's called going into spiritual narcolepsy. So falling asleep at the wheel. Who's driving our bus? It should be us, in connection with spirit. And for Colette, spiritual narcolepsy is forgetting that we are in partnership with this great web of life and spirit. We have a partner in manifesting. It doesn't fall on our shoulders. And so when I was preparing for today, and I do have some ritual objects out and up, and my medicine objects for today and this evening. I don't know if Brian wants to pan over to that so you can see. I have ritual objects set up and some of my traveling medicine objects to talk about rituals. But having got it all out, Spirit has asked me to talk about some different rituals for today. So, and I have a confession too, which speaks right to the heart of what I've been saying, the spiritual narcolepsy. So Brian is setting up equipment, and you know, he's having to sit down because his back hurts from doing the thing yesterday in Barrie, and I'm shuffling cards and I'm asking Spirit and making sure that I'm centered and focused and coming from the place of breathing through the heart 4 times into my cards. And I hear our crows in the backyard. We have nesting pairs of crows, and they're very territorial and they're very loud right now. And I hear them and I thought, crow tarot. Okay, so I grab the crow tarot and I'm shuffling and speaking to the spirit of crow, asking for cards. And I get a whole series of reverse pentacles. And I'm thinking, that seems weird to me. That can't be the right deck. Put it away. And I grab this one because I had it yesterday. This is the White Sage Tarot. It's got a beautiful little hawk on the front. And instead of regular wands, their wands are pussy willows. Perfect for spring. I thought, oh, this is a softer energy. Okay, so I'll get maybe a better connection because I've been using them the last few days. I pull 4 cards from that deck. I get 3 of the 4 cards are the same cards in the same orientation as the Crow Tarot. So I'm shivering, a parasympathetic nervous system response to the presence of spirit. The message is what the message is, and I have to give it. So I will get to the cards in a few moments. And the other thing, being in my head and preparing and getting all these ritual objects out, Spirit said, you know, we're not going to worry about the birch bark right now. We're not going to worry about the moon water. You've talked about that. And the cedar, some beautiful cedar was gathered. We've got the lovely copper bowl and the cedar in it and the wands and what have you. This moon, if I listen to Spirit, this moon is about, as all full moons are, letting go, cutting off what does not serve us. So, I'm going to get to the card reading right now, and then I'm going to do a couple of rituals for you and hope you will do them along with me or a little bit later when the moon is out. Think about it, because just doing it for the sake of doing it doesn't work unless you really put some thought into what it is that no longer serves you as we look forward to the creation of this time between now, beginning almost of April, and September. We don't have a long time to co-create this world with Spirit. So I've just pulled 12 cards, 3 decks, my usual Judith Pintar deck. I asked the ancestors, as I do, to speak, and they gave me 4 cards. I asked Looks Far Woman, and I have been working with a new deck from Alberto Villoldo and Colette called The Shaman's Dream. I don't even know what I did with the box here. There's the book. It's called The Shaman's Dream. And it's in addition to his other deck that he did, the Shamanic Oracle, which comes in a box that looks like this. So the new deck is in a smaller box, but it's not Kiro for Wind Society Central American Shamanism. This deck that he did with Colette is aspects from all shamanism. So it's a much broader, deeper set of spiritual teachings on shamanism. Worked together, they are just gobsmacking, as the Brits say. So I'm going to get to this reading right now, and then we're going to do a couple of rituals. The first card that I pulled for the ancestors was the card Vision. Is that correct, Brian? Am I in the good spot?
Perfect.
Okay. This vision is the vision that we create down here. This leaf is reflected back to us by the universe. This is the great shamanic dividing line between the Nagual and the tonal. The tonal is where this leaf exists, and the vision is up here. So what we manifest, what we believe about ourselves, we create. So that's both a warning and a teaching. Be careful what you think about, and if you're angry at everybody. Once again, we get this card, Transformation. I don't know how many readings I've done here for our YouTube series on new and full moons, that this card just comes out. It's be here and now. Transformation is happening, whether we think we're stuck in the mud or not. But very definitely transformation is happening, and we are growing. How we grow depends on the vision that we have. So we really need to be careful of consciousness, being present. What are we doing? We're creating an incarnation. And this is from the suit of Earth. So this is a beautiful card. Do we create roses, or do we create carnage? It's based on us. It's all up to us. We are not a victim of the elements. We are not a victim of the pandemic. And we come back to another West card. So West is the fall on the wheel, and it's about stillness, and it's about rain. This is the thunder beings squeezing the clouds for rain. The message is stillness. We cannot have, like we have rain today here in La Fontaine, we cannot have growth without rain, without the earth. We need to have those darker moments. We know that. We've been having them, and I know everybody's tired of what we're going through, and we've been stuck in some cases in the same house. If that's how you feel about it, being stuck, instead of saying, gee, all my whole life I wished I had more time with the kids, or more time with my husband, or oh, I'm so glad I'm not commuting every day. That extra 90 minutes I have is, because I'm working from home, I'm not on the road. We have to really be careful how we're thinking. So here's the cards coming up that relate to the ones I pulled from the Crow Tarot, and turned out to be 3 out of 4 were the same for this. This is the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. And the 9 of Pentacles, according to the creator of this deck, in reverse. A little bit different than the way I see 9 of Pentacles. The reversed is living beyond your means and material identity. Be sure, it says, to find balance between work and play. You are worth more than your bank balance. Consume less and create more. And that's a good time. We got to get off the Amazon button because we're bored and we need to be enriched. The second card is the Two of Swords in reverse, and this is a coming out of conflict. This author has some different, again, perspectives to how I see the cards. So her Two of Swords in reverse is struggle and space needed, and this speaks to being confined at home. This card may suggest that you are in the middle of conflict. Trying to play the peacemaker is just creating confusion and tension. Step outside and let some space be gained between you so that you might have perspective. And this one is looking at the heart chakra. The next card is the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And the Ten of Pentacles in reverse is family burdens and short-lived celebration. In reverse, this card suggests communication breakdowns between you and your family. There have been high times, but they don't last. And this is about the crown chakra. But if we can get focused, okay, less on work, more on balanced self, even when we're stuck at home. If we can move back beyond the sense of conflict and look to stop being peacemakers between all the people stuck at home with you, if we can look at what we are creating, we are being influenced here by one of the most beautiful cards. This is the Queen of Wands, and it's she who appears on the lid. And this card speaks of using all this energy that's being wasted, life force being wasted on squabbling and, just being in spiritual narcolepsy, not doing anything balanced at home, just staying focused on work. Remember that Wands is the fire in the belly. This is about creation. This is about manifesting. We can use this energy to properly manifest the things that the ancestors were talking about. And now I come to these beautiful Alberto and Colette Shaman cards. The first card is Whale Song, and it reflects resonating. We know that that's how whales and dolphins speak to each other, with sounds. This one is resonating. The second is a fun card with a cat and a fiddle, and it's the Muse, recognizing the Muse. So it's inspiration. This is very much the card of the shaman, straddling worlds between the here and now, the tonal, and the Naguo. So this is wandering between realms. This is co-creating with the universe. And finally, sky dancers, dragonflies, surrendering. We need to surrender and do the Buddhist thing of radical acceptance. We are still here. We're in the home stretch of this pandemic. It's going to take the course it needs to take, but when we're done, if we surrender to it and in radical acceptance, let go of the bickering, the overworking, the too much consumption from outside the home. If we can surrender and let it happen, the vision we create will be beautiful. And I have been so in awe of this, thinking about the last few days and what Brian and I and Dell and Jennifer, Nita, and Charlene, what we co-created yesterday, with Meredith and Julie. There's just, that was just beyond what I could have expected. With Deborah in the background, taking care of 15 furry leggeds. Not 15 animals, but there's 15 legs between them, to keep them well and happy because they've been ill. This is about the giving away of things that make us fight with our partners and make us have to peacemake between kids who are just so tired of being home. This is such an important, we have to look into the future and what we're co-creating now. This is so, 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 so important. The tones, the resonance, the vibes, this is about resonating with peace and co-creation, being playful with the muse, journeying between the realms to see what's possible and to surrender our vision to a greater vision with the Creator. So here, despite all my preparations with Brian over what I thought we needed to do, Spirit would have me, blew a crock here. Spirit would have me show you some Kiro medicine. This is a shamanic thing. Usually this is done with a sharp object, but I would ask you, since most of you have a feather that you use, to take your feather. And our feather is about sweeping. It's cutting cords. We need to sweep our chakras. We need to sweep our anger out of our belly. We need to completely sweep, big sweeps and small sweeps. We need to sweep the secondary and tertiary chakras, the heart. We need to thank those who we think we're fighting with, or upset with, or done with. We thank them for whatever they brought in terms of clearing our karma, and we must sweep. In Kiro medicine, they do it two ways. They do it equally with the feather after they have done in their junior shamanic years of being mentored. They usually actually use a sword. We have a beautiful sword here made from a swordfish, but it's way too big for me to maneuver on camera. But you're going to cut and sweep and thank and send it back into the dream time. Let that energy that has perhaps hurt you now be turned by the universe into good energy. Because there's no such thing as bad energy and good energy. Energy doesn't die, it just changes form. So what didn't work for us can be used by the trees and Turtle Mother and Spirit to create new. So keep doing this with a candle on. Make sure you have smudged prior. We have always done our smudging ahead of filming, and you're sweeping and cutting, and think of this as eagle. It's like eagle's feather, making you lose the baggage so you can fly high enough to have clarity about now and about the future we are building. And the other thing I want you to do is a real old-timey thing, is to take a stick. So yes, you're going to have to go out in the rain and get yourself a piece of stick that I hope you haven't raked up off the lawn, because we need to not rake the lawn until after the trees have blossomed. There's the little birds and bugs and insects and bumblebees are still waking up, and they're down under those leaves we haven't raked. But find yourself a piece of stick. Douse for it if you need to. I doused for this one. It was stuck in my studio, and I was looking around, and I got this, so this is the one I used. Anyway, make sure you have a flame. My flame just went out. Can't burn it in the house anyway. I'll burn this one later. So now that you have cleaned yourself, you're going to look within and you're going to see if there are any last vestiges. This is like cutting the tie that binds you to another person, but you have things within you that have bound you. bad thoughts you've had about yourself, feelings you have about yourself, low vibes. This isn't from external situations. This is stuff you think about yourself. Not pretty enough, not young enough, I did bad things, I don't deserve. The shame is the lowest vibration possible. And that's validated with psychiatric studies using electroencephalograph, EEG. Anyway, you're taking this lovely stick and you're breathing into it. You're putting it by your heart. And you give it the sacred 4 breaths. And you thank it for being the messenger that's going to transmute those things you're cutting from the inside. And then you recognize them, and you thank them, and you blow them. And you blow 4 times. And as soon as you're done, you set it alight and you take it to your burning pot, whether it's your old barbecue or a pot on the stove or outside in a special pit, wherever you have to burn. We have a burning pot. You set it alight right away and you put it and you watch it burn. You let it go. You hold it until you can't, and then you drop it in the pot. And you thank it, knowing that the flame is transmuting this from a low earth energy toward the Creator to use to manifest this new world, this new vision that we're trying to co-create. Know that while I said we would do other things today, it's going to keep coming around. These cycles within cycles and wheels within wheels. We'll come back to these rituals when it's appropriate. Take good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful full moon. Make your moon water. Don't not do that. Make your moon water. Use it on your seedlings, because everybody's planting now on the indoor stuff. Use it on your seedlings and know that Grandmother Moon will grow you some beautiful plants. Miigwech, Nyawen, be safe.